Good morning, students. The topic for today's lecture is electromagnetic spectrum and role of optical windows in fiber optic communication. First of all, we will try to understand what do you mean by optical windows. So, the optical windows are the range of wavelength at which the fiber operates to its best. Each range is known as an operating window. The information signal which we want to transmit is first converted into light signal. This conversion is done with the help of the sources like laser or LED. We know that light has an optical wavelength. Okay, so the wavelength is related to the frequency. So depending upon the frequency, there are n number of wavelengths are there, but not each of the wavelength is suitable for communication. So we will try to select certain wavelengths at which the optimum results are available and the system works properly. So those proper wavelength, or they have a range. So there are ranges of wavelength at which the fiber operates to its best. So this range is known as the operating window. So optical windows are flat, optically transparent ranges that are typically designed to maximize the transmission on a selected wavelength range. At the same time, we should experience minimum reflection and losses. These are used to protect the optical systems from an external environment. Fiber optic wavelengths are determined by two factors. So while selecting which wavelength we should use, we have to keep two factors in mind. Number one, low losses in the fiber, and we should experience low dispersion in the fiber. So among n number of wavelength, we have selected 850 nanometers, 1330 nanometers and 1550 nanometers as a normal wavelength, and these three centralized wavelengths are useful for communication purpose, and at these wavelengths we are experiencing low losses in the fiber with low dispersion of the signal in the fiber. We know that the light is basically a electromagnetic waves. The speed of the electromagnetic waves in free space is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Okay, so there is a parameter that is known as wavelength. Wavelength, we know that the distance between two peaks, distance between two cycles is known as a wavelength. So the distance traveled during each cycle is known as a wavelength. Basically it is measured in meters. So there is a relationship between wavelength and the frequency. So what is the relation? Lambda is equal to, lambda is the wavelength, its unit is meter, lambda is equal to c by f. So what is c? C is velocity of light in free space having value 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, and f is the frequency in hertz. Okay, so when f is high, the lambda will be low. In other ways, if f is in lower frequency range, the lambda will be in high frequency range, because they are inversely proportional to each other. In fiber optics, it is more convenient to use the wavelength of light instead of frequency with light frequency, okay, the wavelength is measured in micrometers or in nanometers. So they are the lower ranges of the meter. So if I say 1 micrometer, so 1 micrometer is equal to 10 to the power minus 6 meter. Micro is 10 to the power minus 6. Similarly, nanometer is 10 to the power minus 9 meters. Okay. Now selection of wavelength. So there are n number of wavelength. Among n number of wavelength, we have to select certain wavelengths which will give the optimum result for a particular fiber with particular factors. The single mode fiber is making use of two centralized wavelength. One is 1310 nanometers and another is 1550 nanometers. Similarly, multi-mode fibers, they are making use of 850 nanometers and 1310 nanometer wavelength. Now, the important point is how to choose the wavelength. The wavelength selection is very important factor. There are two important factors. Number one is losses in the fiber. Second is dispersion. Suppose I have a choice for lowest losses. Losses means attenuation. Okay. Then we will prefer 1550 nanometer wavelengths. But if my choice is for signal having lowest dispersion, then 1310 nanometer is the choice. Each effect that contributes to attenuation and dispersion is totally dependent on the optical wavelength. So this is a view of optical spectrum. This optical spectrum, as it is clearly shown, having different wavelength range. So ultraviolet, then visible region, then IR region. Having IR means infrared region. So visible and IR region, they are useful for optical communication. In IR region, as it is clearly shown, there are different wavelength range having the lower limit of 850 nanometers, and the second is at on the higher side. If you see, it is 1625 nanometers. We have to choose a selected set of wavelength for different applications. So infrared light covers a wide range of wavelength, and they are useful for optical communication. The visible light is normally used for short range transmission, and for that we are using plastic fiber. But IR, which is having the wavelength from 850 nanometer to 1625 nanometers, they are useful for long distance optical communication. Okay, is it clear? So this is another explanation for different wavelengths. We can see among the various selected wavelength, we have different applications selected. For telephone lines, we have different set of frequencies having frequency range in the form of very low frequency VLF. Similarly, AM radios, AM radios, we are making use of medium frequency and high frequency. For TV broadcast, we are using VHF and UHF. Satellite link, we are using SHF and EHF, extra high frequency. Then there is a IR region, UV region. They are basically visible light and the IR region. They are responsible for optical fiber communication, and there is a direct relationship of the frequency with the wavelength, as it is clearly shown. So transmission window is basically a range of wavelength. So from the last slides we have seen that IR region is having a range from around 800 nanometers to around 1600 nanometers with n number of different wavelengths, and so we have to choose a certain set of wavelength that are within the range. The first range of wavelength is from 800 to 900 nanometers, and the centralized wavelength in this range is 850 nanometer, and this is known as a first window. So first window is having centralized wavelength of 850 nanometers. The second window is from 1250 to 1350 nanometers, having centralized wavelength 1310 nanometers. The third window, which is operable, having range from 1500 to 1600 nanometers with centralized wavelength 1550 nanometers. And within these wavelength ranges, we can use LED and laser sources to transmit the light through the optical fiber. LEDs are suitable for 1310 and 1550 nanometers with single mode applications, whereas for multi-mode applications we are selecting LEDs as a source, and they are operable at 850 or 1300 nanometer wavelength. So it is clear. So operating window is a range of wavelength, and the centralized wavelength is the central wavelength within that range. This low distance, these windows are useful for different applications. So there are different bands which indicates a certain set of wavelength ranges. So there are different wavelength bands where the effect of losses are the lowest, and the lowest effects are most suitable for transmission. So first window that was available below the O band is original band. It is having the wavelength range from 800 to 900 nanometers, and is primarily used for short distance communication, and it makes use of plastic optical fiber. Then we have other regions. O band is known as original band, and original band is having the wavelength range from 1260 to 1360 nanometers. Then we have E band, extended band 1360 to 1460. S band, shorter wavelength 1460 to 1530 nanometers. Then similarly we have C band, L band, and U band. U band is ultra long wavelength, having wavelength range from 1625 to 75 nanometers. The history of the attenuation, we have already discussed that we will choose certain wavelength among n number of wavelengths available to us. The prime reason is that at certain selected wavelength we experience minimum attenuation or losses. So the history of attenuation explains us at which point the optical fiber is experiencing minimum attenuation. So on y-axis we are taking attenuation, which is measured in decibel per kilometer, and on x-axis we will be making use of the different wavelength range. So as it is clear from the figure that the first window is around centralized wavelength of 800 nanometers, and at 850 nanometer centralized wavelength we are experiencing minimum attenuation of 5 dB per kilometer. So there is a dip at this wavelength only, whereas at other wavelength the curve is experiencing high attenuation. But at 850 nanometers the curve is experiencing attenuation of 5 dB per kilometer. So this is our first window, and it was established in year 1970. So first window is from 800 to 900 nanometers. Then the second window came into effect in 1980, and it operates at centralized wavelength of around 1310 nanometers, and having different wavelength range. So at 1330 nanometers the second window is giving minimum attenuation, having a value of around 0.5 dB per kilometer. The third window is around 1550 nanometers centralized wavelength. At this centralized wavelength, again the fiber is experiencing minimum attenuation. So it is clearly visible that at certain selected wavelength we are experiencing minimum wavelengths. Then we have operating ranges of component. We can choose multiple optical sources, and these optical sources are composed of different materials. We can choose gallium aluminum arsenide as a optical source. We can choose indium gallium arsenide phosphide. We can choose indium gallium arsenide phosphide for different applications. They are all sources, and they operate at these three optical windows. If we select suitable material for them, they will give us better results with minimum losses and minimum dispersion. So the first curve is attenuation curve. So as it is clearly shown that they are giving minimum losses at around 1330 nanometers and 1550 nanometers. Another curve is responsivity curve, means the optical receiver which will sense the light. Okay, how much is the sensitivity of the photodetector? Okay, how much responsive is the photodetector corresponding to the received light. So as it is clearly shown, the photodetectors which senses the light, they operate best at the centralized wavelength, means they operate at they operate to their best at 850 nanometers, 1330 and 1550 nanometers. So first window was at around 800 to 900 nanometers, and it is suitable for short distance applications in optical telecommunication, and they are making use of uh, uh, plastic optical fibers. The distance traveled is very short. The second window that came into existence in 1980, it operates around 1310 nanometers, and this band has the property of zero dispersion, and we are making use of single mode fiber. Okay, within this band, the attenuation, which is measured in decibel per kilometer, is around 0.35 to 0.4 dB per kilometer, and this band is suitable for long distance communication. Third window, which came into existence later on around 1990, it operates from 1510 to 1625 nanometers, and it experiences attenuation of 0.26 dB per kilometer. In present days, the attenuation has been reduced to 0.2 dB per kilometer or less than 0.2 dB per kilometer, depending upon the quality of the optical cable and the optical components. So in nutshell, we can say that the three optical windows are very important for selection, depending on our criteria, whether we are interested in the less dispersion or in less losses. So whether our concern is short distance or long distance, so accordingly we can choose different types of optical cable and different type of optical sources that operates at certain wavelength. So if you have any doubt, you can directly contact me at my mailing address. My mailing address is principalsspc@gmail.com. Thank you. Thanks a lot.